Hello, hello. Happy, beautiful Monday, everyone. Welcome to Motivational Monday. My name is Kira. I am your host, and we have the wonderful Alvaro with us for a really cool, interesting, very different conversation. The name of today's conversation is The Science of Sticking to Your Money Plan, and it's going to be different than what you expected. Actually, it's different than I think what him and I expected in this conversation. And when we started coming together, looking at what this conversation was going to be, and not only what this moment was going to be, but where have we taken you over this journey? We're in our financial well-being series. We started in October with a money mindset, and then in November we went to money management, and now we're in December for money momentum. And if you were on last week's call with Candace, we really talked about what it looks like to commit to your money and what it looks like to say I do, more so in like a long-term perspective, because the really interesting thing is that money is a resource for everything in our lives. And it's probably one of the most significant transactions that we make every single day. We swipe our cards, we spend our money, if we're working with our finances, right, this foundational part of ourselves and our lives that is not going to change and is going to be here forevermore, then when we start to change our financial well-being, we do start to change our lives. And that's why I'm talking about how many financial transactions we have, because I think it's the thing that we do most consistently is use our money and use our resources to get to where we want to go. Right? So if we change those habits around our money, and if we focus on that growth over time, then we will see that changing our finances is most likely going to change all of the layers of our life, because it is something that we do consistently every single day. And the things that you do the most, and the things that you do with the most consistency, and the habits and values that you instill around the things that take up significant portions of your life tend to bleed out into every other layer of your life. And you might see that in your finances now. If you're really well and diligent with your finances, you might notice that you're that way in business and your relationships, things along those lines. But if you're kind of loosey-goosey with your finances, then you might be loosey-goosey with yourself and your own habits. You might be loosey-goosey in your relationships. What a funny word to say multiple times. You might be loosey-goosey in the way that you look at your future. And we're here to really solidify that and make sure that the type of person that you are walking throughout this world as is the type of person that you desire to be. So today's conversation, I'm very, very excited for. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit different. So a couple of things. You're going to need tools today. First thing, maybe a place to get comfortable. We will be doing a mindset shifting meditation. If you are driving, you can just listen in. It's perfectly fine. Your brain will follow along. If you're at work and you're multitasking, maybe for the 5 to 7 minutes that we're doing the meditation, take a breather, take a breath, and allow yourself to be present. Or if you guys are watching the recording, then set up your cozy little home and get grounded in and get ready for this. But also, there's probably time for journaling as well. So you might want a pen and paper. And as always, we suggest water with you as well, because it is an important thing for your biology as a human. There was this article that Alvaro sent to me, and he was like, hey, what if we went in this direction? And what if we talked about our finances and our growth and our evolution in this way? So this is what the article said. UCLA researchers put people in brain scanners and showed them photos of strangers. They then showed them photos of themselves. Finally, they showed them aged photos of themselves 20 years older. The brain's response to their future self: it lit up exactly like it did for the stranger. Your brain literally thinks your future self is someone else. That's why you'll eat the cake today and promise to diet tomorrow. Why you'll skip the workout now and swear you'll start Monday. Why you'll spend the bonus instead of saving it. You're not weak. You're just wired to see future you as someone else's problem. Literally. Stanford psychologist Hal Hershfield discovered something that changes everything. People who feel connected to their future selves save 30% more for retirement. They exercise more consistently. They make healthier choices. They report higher life satisfaction. not because they have more willpower, because they stop treating their future self like a stranger. And she goes on to say, I feel that I see this disconnect constantly with executives approaching retirement. Future me will figure out what to do with all that free time. Future me will suddenly love golf. Future me won't miss the status and structure. Future me will be fine without the corner office identity. Then retirement arrives and they meet this stranger that they've been sending problems to for decades. Surprise! Future you is just current you, older and unprepared. Here's how to build future self continuity before it's too late. And this is the work we're doing today. Write a letter from your 85-year-old self. What do they wish you started today? What do they not regret doing? What choices made their life better? When my clients do this, the clarity is immediate. Use aged photo apps intentionally. This is going to blow your mind, everyone. Seeing your older face isn't vanity. It's connection. Hirschfield's research shows that people who spent time with aged photos of themselves made significantly better long-term decisions. And she included her own, and surprise, surprise, we're going to show you ours, and it's weird. Have a conversation with future you. Every major decision, ask, what would 85-year-old me think about this? And it's so funny, I've done this. I've done this in love many times and been like, I would rather have loved and lost than never to have loved at all, and I'd rather be able to tell the story than say that I didn't live my life, right? That board position that sounds prestigious but exhausting, that move to be near grandkids, that business you're afraid to start, track decisions as gifts or debts. Everything you do today is either a gift or a debt to your future self. That workout, gift. That skill you're learning, gift. That relationship you're neglecting, debt. That retirement planning you're avoiding, debt. The executives who thrive in retirement don't want to meet their future selves. They build that relationship, or don't wait to meet their future selves. They build that relationship now. They make decisions as if they're already that person. They stop treating tomorrow me like someone else's responsibility. Because your future self isn't a stranger waiting to be discovered. They're being created by every choice you make today. What gift will you give your future self this week? Drop 111 in the chat if that is fascinating to you. That blew my mind to see and hear that our future selves are here right now, and we're so disconnected from it, right? I see it a lot in my generation. I was born in 1995. I'm 30 now. I see my generation so focused on instant gratification, and I think that's really cool that we have such a wide generational gap between Alvaro and I. Ring light, just dud it out. It's okay. Maybe my current self isn't as bright as I need it to be, and maybe I need to focus a little bit more on brightening my future self. Who knows? So that's the cool thing about also Alvaro and I having a generational gap, because I feel like Alvaro has lived enough life to understand that we age and we grow. I have an understanding, I have a perspective, but it's different, right? I'm still young. I still have my youthfulness, and I think we can keep that throughout our lives, but there's a lot more perspective, watching children grow, being on your own journey, going through the ups and downs of life and realizing the longer term vision of your perspectives. So with all of that, Alvaro, I'm going to share our future self pictures. And I think we should talk about it a little bit. And then we're going to take you all into a meditation to really meet your future self. So Alvaro, with that article, as I'm pulling this up, what does it feel like for you, knowing that as we can look at these pieces of ourselves and come even deeper into who we are and setting ourselves up, what does this change for you? Because when we were planning this yesterday, we were like, oh, I'm nervous, but also really excited, and I don't know how to feel about this. And this is us. So Alvaro and I came together yesterday, and we looked up an app that could age us. And for me, it's been really interesting, because I remember being 18 and being told that I looked like I was 30. Now that I'm 30, last year I had someone ask me if I was 16. Maybe it's because I don't wear makeup, I don't know, but age is such an interesting thing, and I also haven't had too much perspective, but I've seen myself grow in age over time. And I do think about my future self often. And drop 333 in the chat if you think about your future self and if you use that as a guidepost for where you're going and the decisions that you make right now. Not all of us do. Some of us are really afraid of that. But it looks like what we're receiving in the chat is a lot of you also do that. However, reading that article, I realized that when I have thought about my future self, I was not thinking or envisioning actual Kira. Have a feeling, and it's so interesting because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother in the hospital as she was passing. She was in her 90s, just like age, you know? And I realized that every time that I think about like 85-year-old Kira making the decision to fall in love and travel the world, and to accumulate those stories and to live a life that is full and robust and whole and a little bit messy and a little bit crazy, I was holding my grandmother's hand. So doing this has been weird. It's weird because this is me today. I just took this picture. The first picture that you see on the top left is me today. Obviously, hi, same person, right? On the app, which is called faceapp.com, we are going to give you resources to do this all on your own. On the app, there was a cool age feature, which is the middle picture, and then there was just an age feature, or an old feature, that I did for the third one. And there's a vain part of me that's like, oh, I'm gonna look like a middle one until I'm 85. But the truth is probably I'm going to look like the third one, maybe a little bit more closely when I'm to that age. And it's giving me, maybe a little bit more self-love, maybe a little bit more validation, but it's making it real because that does look like Kira in some ways. And it's weird to imagine. And then Alvaro did his yesterday as well. And we don't have 3 pictures for him because he's got 3 decades over me. But I think like, you know, that's Kira now. Kira maybe around Alvaro's age. I hope. My mom looks amazing at 65, so we can only hope. And then Kira at 85. And it's a little uncomfortable. It's a little weird to see, but also I feel like it's really empowering to realize that the future person that I get to talk about is now Kira and is a real lived person. So Alvaro, let's see if your echo is gone. How was this for you as someone who understands neuroscience and exactly. Alvaro's already the cool looking age. He's already there. So wizened. He's like the person I go to when I need support for so many things. But yeah, Alvaro, how was that for you?
What's the impact for me? Once you get over the vanity component, I have spent the last 24 hours so conscious of everything that I do and whether it's a debt or a gift into my future. It has been so powerful. And I've done, the living eulogy exercise where you write your eulogy, what you want to be heard at your funeral, and how you want people to remember, how you want to remember yourself. And that's really powerful. I had a client that kept his living eulogy in his wallet and would refer to it regularly just to keep himself grounded in decision making. Adding the visual component has been absolutely phenomenal. I think that I have a pretty healthy view towards aging on a physical level. So it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm gonna get old. I'm there. So I've enjoyed aging. And when I start thinking about our topic here, Motivational Monday, around finances, all of a sudden I start thinking about myself from a financial perspective as this older person. And am I going to have money in the bank? Am I going to be able to enjoy being a foodie? Am I like all these things? And all of a sudden, when I stop to do something financial, I can ask the simple question of, is this expense or this money I'm about to spend a gift or a debt to my future self? Such a simple question is so powerful. And I think what happens neurologically, if neuroscience has its way, is when you ask that question over and over and over again, that becomes your decision matrix. It gets wired in. And so the amygdala hijack that happens when we're all of a sudden staring at an empty bank account, we can mitigate that. We can actually play with it. We can be a conscious participant in rewiring our brains over the long term by doing the micro actions in the moment by asking a simple question. And that's been absolutely phenomenal.
It's very similar too. If you're in a place right now where you're like, wow, I'm really working through my financial well-being, I'm not where I want to be. It allows us, I think, to also take a larger view perspective. I think sometimes it's really easy to be hard on ourselves when we're only able to see this version of ourselves right now. But if we're able to see over a long amount of time who we can become and we can reverse engineer our lives, we can be like, oh, cool, I'm just at a starting point now. I'm 40, I'm 50, whatever it is. And I still might have, if I'm lucky, 3, 4, 5 decades. I think I'm living until 120, but that's me being me. But at the end of the day, it gives you sort of a roadmap as well of where am I now and where do I want to go? And not as an intangible construct, but as a very real roadmap for the steps that you get to take every single day. And also for a holistic perspective for the value of this beautiful, gorgeous life that you've been given and the opportunity to choose the way that we walk throughout our lives. And this is a workshop of empowerment, right? This is a workshop of allowing yourself to grow. And that's why I put even the cosmos as the background of this, because it helps us travel through space and time. We're no longer locked in to who we are right this second. We're locked into where I want to go. So for me, I have a beautiful home. I could buy I have the money right now to buy a bunch of beautiful, lavish things. But I also know that in 20 years, I would rather have made investments that have appreciated over time and have given me a significant return on investment. And that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate beautiful things. I just bought pottery from a local artist this weekend, but it means that I have to find a balance between all of that, between the life that I'm living right now and the enjoyment of it, and also where I want to go in the future, and making sure that the Kira who's living right now that I get to see on this screen is real, but also the Kira who we hope is going to be alive at 85, she's real too. And how do I make decisions that are going to support that? So with that, Alvaro, I think I'm going to drop us into a short meditation and then we'll do some of the journaling exercises. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. For those of you who are listening, you are welcome to shut your eyes if you're in a place to. This will be a slightly shorter meditation, but it'll be one that really helps you ground in and find that perspective. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a yoga teacher, meditation. I've hosted retreats all around the country, all the fun things. So this is kind of my forte, and I don't get to do this on Motivational Monday often, but you all ask for stuff like this on a regular basis. So in the summer of 2026, I'm having a woo-woo month in our programming where it's going to be all about things along these lines. So stay tuned for 2026 and what we have coming forward. But with that, let's dive into the meditation. So I want you to shut your eyes and just become present in this moment. Allow yourself to feel yourself seated down wherever you are. Maybe your feet are on the ground, maybe you're at your standing desk, maybe you're driving and your hands are on your steering wheel. If that's the case, please keep your eyes open. But follow your breath. Notice that you're here. It's December 8th, 2025, right here, right now. And allow yourself to be here. Allow yourself to take note of the life that you live now. Maybe you realize the decisions that you make now. Maybe you realize the values that you have now. Maybe you're taking inventory of the amazing people in your life, taking inventory of this job that you have, taking inventory of the way that you show up in your world, the opportunities that you have, the debts that you have, the gifts that you've given yourself, and the beauty of the life that surrounds you, and maybe also the challenge of the life that surrounds you. We have to have both. And we have to acknowledge both. And now imagine yourself 20 to 30 years older, maybe 85, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, in a place where you feel peaceful and safe. And peaceful and safe in the way of realizing that maybe you're closer to the end of your life than the beginning of it. And you're starting to take inventory. And you're taking inventory of your personal self before you take inventory of this life that you've lived. So now you're 85. Notice your future you's face, their posture, their energy. Maybe it's exactly what you've hoped for. Or maybe this version of the future you that's coming up is not what you hoped for. And start to take inventory. Whatever version of the future you that you're seeing now, did they make decisions over their lifetime that allowed them to feel happy, fulfilled, whole? Or did they make decisions over their lifetime that made them feel depleted, anxious, unfulfilled? What are they grateful for? What are they asking you to change? Where can you come more in alignment with who you want to become and make those choices now? And imagine someone you love now describing how you used your resources over your life, a mini living eulogy. So someone, you're 85, you're seeing this version of yourself, and there's someone that you love in your life that's saying, this is the life that this person that you lived. This is what they did. This is what they're known for. This is who they helped. This is how free they were. And maybe you're being told things or hearing things right now that aren't what you want to be remembered for. Or maybe you're being told things or remembering things right now that are exactly what you hope to have a life well lived for. And as we're coming to a close in this meditation, let one sentence start to come up that captures what future you most wants for you now around financial freedom, around your financial decisions that take up a significant portion of your life and will ripple out into every other layer of your life. And hold that gently as you come back into the room, maybe shaking your fingers, wiggling your toes, opening your eyes. And in the chat, share one word for how you feel now. Maybe write one thing that future you thanked you for, or maybe one boundary or request that future you made about money, work, or health. And Alvaro, while we're having that come through the chat, do you mind sharing about what came up for you?
I think that, for a state of mind, I want to have a sense of money being a resource, a source of energy, as opposed to a burden, a source of stress. Yeah, going back to that, micro question that you can ask: is this a gift or a debt? I want it to fill. I want it to. I want it to. I want the coffers to be plentiful. Not about wealth. Not about leaving millions of dollars. Not about being in expensive hotels. It's about recognizing that I have done what it takes to have fuel in the gas tank, and that I can travel because of it.
So beautiful. For me, I've listened to studies a lot this week around women's health, and women are more prone to stress and more prone to stress related challenges and health challenges over a long time. And for me, it was a version of me saying, Kira, enjoy the moments. Don't stress about the moments, because that is going to accumulate over time, and it's either going to leave me healthy and happy or leave me run down and depleted by the end of my life. We have people in the chat sharing resourcefulness, focus, Hope says the word that she came with is her name, Hope, which is beautiful. Intentional, apprehension, and that's valid. So we dropped some resources in the chat for you. The first thing that you see is the actual article. The second thing is faceapp.com, the actual app where you can create the version of yourself. It does request it's a 7-day free trial. And then then you pay $60 a year. What I did was I signed up for the trial, immediately went to my settings in my phone and deleted the trial so I didn't have to forget about it, and then did the face tuning, and then I saved it to my phone. So you can do that. And then the third thing is how a living eulogy will help you with your finances and help you make better decisions over your life. So the reason why we did the eulogy in the meditation is because not only do we want to be able to see that future version of ourselves, but we want to be able to understand the impact that we've left over this time. So Alvaro, we are coming to an end here on this session. Do you have any final words before we close out?
Yeah, for the people that are on here, it's so amazing that you guys show up Monday after Monday, and I would love for you guys to share amongst yourselves and with us what this exercise does for you, how it impacts. I think that would be phenomenal to hear ourselves share that dialogue.
And we're going a little bit over time, but I'll blame that on the tech issues. Life Guides is here for you as a resource and as a support. So with that, if you're like, wow, I know who I want to become later on in my life, and I know where I'm not at now, and I want help in making those decisions and becoming that person, you can have an outside person and perspective help you get there and help you grow and navigate a complex human life. Because Life Guides is here more than just our events. We have one-on-one calls with our guides that you get to book with someone who can help you on your journey of life, because life isn't always easy. I think it's much more simpler than it is easy, but it gets a lot easier when you have the support alongside you and someone to help you and someone to look at and be like, this is who I want to be when I'm 80, and I showed up yesterday not as that person. And your guide gets to say, hey, it's okay. Let's do better tomorrow. What are we going to change? What is that teaching us? And you don't have to do it all alone. So I just dropped Alvaro's link in the chat. If Alvaro is someone that inspires you, who you'd like to have a conversation with to dive deeper into this topic, he's a perfect person. He's someone that I use on a regular basis as well. And it is a great resource to have Life Guides here. It is free, paid for by your employer. You have unlimited sessions with unlimited guides about unlimited topics. There's no insurance, no paperwork. Everything is anonymous. And you get to have the support that you need to live a life of meaning and of purpose to you. There is a survey that pops up at the end that is one of the most impactful things that you can do to give back to us, is give us your feedback so that we can know, especially as I'm evolving 2026, I want to know how this is for you, what you want to see, your personal testimonials, things along those lines. So thank you so much for staying 3 extra minutes. I hope that you do these exercises and live a life of more meaning and purpose every single day. And that by the end of this beautiful life that we have, that we get to look back and say, I did that, and I was exactly who I wanted to be throughout all of the years of my life. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful Monday. We have the deep dive this week with Candace, and we'll be diving deeper into more of our money momentum. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.